So for years, I've been preaching that Ubisoft is struggling with the method of how they make games, right? Their games go through an extensive sign-off process within the company where every person who wears a suit wants to have a say of what is in the final game and what is good and what is bad. And as a result, you're just avoiding any innovation. There is no risks in the games that Ubisoft makes, and they've been basically in a creative hole for years. In the last 3 years, their stock price has fallen by 47%, so almost 50% of the stock value has been lost within 3 years. And unless that would have happened, I'm pretty sure Ubisoft would have done nothing, okay? They don't care about their games at all. It's a bit like with EA and all these kinds of companies. They don't care unless it directly infects the investors, the shareholders. That's what they care about. So now finally, it seems like Ubisoft is waking up and they're trying to make a change with how their company is structured, okay? Because just a day ago, they basically announced that they're going to have a global creative office. And I read through this article a few times. It is really wishy-washy. It's not particularly clear what exactly they're going to do, but the idea is to simplify that sign-off process that Ubisoft has. The process literally was that headquarters of Ubisoft in Paris or in France has to sign off every game, and with that probably every detail of each game has to go through them. And now they want to simplify that process and give their separate studios more creative authority so they can make their own decisions and they don't have to have that final sign-off from the headquarters in France. However, there are a few caveats to that, right? For example, Ubisoft's chief creative officer, Igor Manceau, I hope I'm saying this right, will step down next month after only 1 year with the companies, right? So think about that for a second. So you finally become chief creative officer at Ubisoft, which is a great step in your career, right? I'm sure you're making a solid income. It's a reputable position to be in if you want to have a career in this field. And after just 1 year, you're stepping down. Now, the official reason for that is that it's private reasons, okay? Personal reasons. I have personal reasons to step down. And it's really funny, right? Because every time a company announces like this big restructuring, whether it's 343 Industries with Halo Infinite, where they just recently said we're doing a big restructuring, and then all these people step down, including like Bonnie Ross, who's like the head of 343. And here it's the same. Like Ubisoft is like, we're gonna restructure a lot of elements of our company, and for some weird reason, the chief creative officer steps down, and both Bonnie Ross and the chief creative officer at Ubisoft, it's both personal reasons. Family or something. It's just like, look, I'm not speculating that it might not be that, but it's just funny how that keeps happening over and over again. So anyway, Ubisoft is restructuring, okay, with the ambition to give their studios more creative power. And again, the only reason why they do that is because they see their share value and probably their sales of the games and the interest in the games and the longevity of their games plummeting, right? They're desperate. They're basically desperate at this point. They've hit a wall, not only creatively, probably also financially. They see they don't grow as much anymore because a lot of their recent games just rely on a kind of pre-existing, at this point, often outdated formula, right? Like they repeat it over. If you look at the Far Cry games, for example, I mean, the last really good Far Cry game that I remember was Far Cry 3. And yeah, you can say some of the ones that followed after that were acceptable, they were okay, but everything seems to be just like, well, Far Cry 3 was a big thing, we had a big villain with Vaz, was it Vaz? I think it was Vaz. So let's repeat this formula. Who is the villain in your new Far Cry game? You have to, and it's like, bro, it's not about the villain. That's not how the game, you need to think about what is the core of Far Cry, and then you need to evolve it. But let's look at some of the games that Ubisoft released or is about to release in the near future, in the very near past. Like, for example, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, right? That was a disaster. It was a catastrophe. I played the beta of that, and it was just awful. I saw a few people now saying now it got better. They improved upon the game. It's not as bad as it used to be, but still, like, it lost all momentum, right? Nobody wants to play Ghost Recon Breakpoint anymore. Even you fix it at this point, nobody cares. Far Cry 6, not an awful, horrible game, but it wasn't exactly the pinnacle of the franchise, right? Watch Dogs Legions got bad reviews, at least from the people. If you read, like, user reviews of this game, everyone says, like, Watch Dogs 1 and 2 were actually better than Watch Dogs Legion in terms of like the actual gameplay and what the game had to offer. And you always have to say, like, the caveat is, besides the visuals of the world, right? It's great visuals. Ubisoft games always look great. So you can take great screenshots, you can cut great trailers, same as all these EA games, right? Like even Battlefield 2042 looks great. You can cut amazing but the game sucks. It's a shit game. And I don't think Watch Dogs Legion was an exception. It looked beautiful. Like, I live in London, right? At some point in sale for £3, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to explore the city of London. But I don't expect this game to give me any exciting quests or have any really exciting, groundbreaking content within the game beyond this world. Riders Republic, another game, was not released on Steam, right? They made this deal with, like, Epic. So I'm sure that game didn't sell very well. I mean, none of my friends played that game, and I liked Steep. Right? I was quite a big fan of Steep. I enjoyed that, like a nice snowboard and like fun sports simulator. I would love to play Riders Republic, but because it's not on Steam, I just never see it. So it doesn't exist in my universe, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Ghost Recon Frontline, that was like Ubisoft's attempt of like copying Warzone Battle Royale gameplay. Like, I have to tell you, I played the beta of that as well. It was unbelievable. It was a one-to-one attempt of a copy of Warzone, down to little details that you like shove plates down your, like with the button 4, you're shoving like protective armor plates into your suit, like your face. It was a one-to-one copy of Warzone, and then they canceled it. Like, when I played the beta of that game, that felt like a fairly finished game, and they were aiming for it to go free to play, I believe. And then they just canceled it. They were like, nah, it's dude, we've missed the train. The Battle Royale train has left the station. It's embarrassing to release it at this point, and it would probably do more damage to our company to release that game than to just cancel it and not put it out there at all. Skull and Bones, coming, I think, early next year. Is it March or something, 2023? Don't nail me down on that, but also doesn't look too promising, okay? From looking at the trailers, I spoke about it in another video, it just looks a bit dull and boring. And I haven't seen anyone saying, oh, Skull and Bones, that's going to be exciting. Not to say that there are not some people out there who might look forward to this game, but it's just not an exciting title. The only franchise that Ubisoft still seems to have that is going big time is Assassin's Creed. And they're absolutely doubling down on that, because they just announced 3 new Assassin's Creed games at like this year's Ubisoft Forward. So they're clearly saying like, oh, Assassin's Creed, yeah, that's the big thing. That still works. All our other franchises are kind of dead. So let's just do 3 Assassin's Creed games. But trust me, they know as well that that's not the way forward. They cannot become the Assassin's Creed company the way that Activision basically is the Call of Duty company at this point. It cannot really sustain this company. So they need to reinvent themselves. They need to come up with fresh ideas, with fresh takes, with new game mechanics, okay? You can't just regurgitate the same mechanics every time you release a Far Cry title. You need to have new and fresh and innovative mechanics. They need to reinvent existing franchises. They need to ultimately take risks, okay? And that is what they're not good at all. Like, Ubisoft is the manifestation of a company that sucks at taking risks. Everything has to be evaluated and run through 1,600 people to sign it off. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but everyone wants to have a say and make sure that this time it has to be safe. Okay, this has to be a success. So everyone in the department has to sign it off. And it's like, no, dude. Let people do their thing. And even you personally sit in the upper management of Ubisoft and you don't like this one idea, let it go. Other people may like it. Take a risk. Do something that you may consider wrong, but just let it go. Take a risk, right? Because this process they established almost triggered their downfall at this point. You know, Ubisoft has come from this company that was quite a landmark in terms of game developers. I mean, they have like 20,000 employees across all their studios. It's a massive developer, and they did, like 10, 15 years ago, have a fairly good reputation. That has all come crashing down on them. There's nothing left of that, okay? And everywhere you go, if you read the comments under some of these articles, right, it's like inside joke about Ubisoft having no creativity. Easily one of the worst developers out there. How they stay in business is beyond me. And it's the same on like Twitter and all these platforms. It's a joke. This company is a meme at this point, right? And they see that as well. And I think they finally realized that this route they've been taking over the years, the system they established internally for their company has almost triggered their downfall, and they need to make a change. They need to change the system, otherwise it will wreck them. They will be gone another 10 more years, and there might be nothing left of them. And to be honest, I mean, this restructuring should have come years ago. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they've seen it coming years ago as well, but only now they are panicking. Now they're like, oh no, our stock price 50% down in 3 years. This is not good. we need to do something. So they're all running around like a chicken without head, right? And they panic and they try to quickly change something. And that's kind of the ultimate question in this, right? Are they bold enough to actually see this change through? Are they brave enough to sit in the topper ranks management, and previously they signed off every detail on every game, and now they don't? Now games are being released without them signing it off or without them giving their final consent. You know, this is like a loss of power for a lot of people. This feels like you're removing control from a lot of upper management people. And the question is, are these people in the upper ranks that are used to having this power, used to having that control, are they willing to let go of that control, hoping that the creative forces of Ubisoft will do the right thing, turn this around, and actually produce more creative, more innovative, and more fresh games that people actually want to play, and that also have a longevity, right? That people still want to play in 3, 4, 5 years. Or are they willing to sign off a game that has a development cycle of 5, 6, 7 years because it's going to be a big game? We're not like hammering it out every 2 years in Assassin's Creed. No. We're going to take a franchise, I don't know, like a Tom Clancy franchise, and we're making one game that's going to be huge, and it will take 6, 7 years to make, and we're pumping the money into risks, okay? These are huge risks for these companies, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure that Ubisoft is ready to do this, to let go of this control, to let go of this power, take risks like the ones I just described, and change their direction so radically that this can be turned around. I think a lot of people say they want to do that, and they're like, yeah, this is the only way forward. We have to make a big change. But then as soon as it comes to signing off the next Assassin's Creed or Far Cry game, they're like, no, I do really want to see it. And then they write like 6-page emails with feedback of this doesn't work and this has to be changed. And then we're kind of back to where we were before. Like, I can only speak from my own experience in like other creative companies where people really struggle to let go of like leverages of control like that, right? People want to have that control and they feel they make the right decisions, and it's a struggle. I don't know what you think about this. What do you think? Do you think Ubisoft is able to change? Do you think Ubisoft can turn this around and establish a system that is not so tied down on management and 200 people in suits signing everything off, while letting people in their studios actually have creative control? Or do you think that's impossible? Do you think it's too late? Do you think people are going to say they do want to let go of the control and they do want to change the system, but actually when it comes to the actual actions they have to take and the compromises they have to make, they're going to fall back into the old patterns? What are your thoughts on this? I'm really curious to hear it, because this is really, I mean, not yet, I guess, but it's really coming closer to a make or break situation for Ubisoft. Like, there's nothing in the pipeline right now that I'm excited about. I mean, you know, maybe you're excited about some of the games. You know, maybe you're excited about the, what is it, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, right? The upcoming game for the Avatar franchise, which admittedly looks great, as always, right? The Ubisoft games look great. But is it going to be a good game? I'm not excited about this. I think Ubisoft has played all their cards and they've just lost my interest in their games. I just don't care anymore. So leave all your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And is there hope for Ubisoft? I don't know. In any case, I appreciate you watching the video all the way to the end. That's great. If you enjoyed it, then please don't forget to smash the like button. It helps the channel out. You can also subscribe if you have not yet done that. I would appreciate to see you in another video. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'm out. Bye.